Welcome to Digital Nation, your weekly look at the best of local TV, unveiling the news and stories you just don't see anywhere else. This week, we meet the Irish dancers in Lancashire. STV Glasgow teaches us how to keep the birds warm in winter. We take a trip with the Leeds fans on a United away day. And we find out which Star Wars crew member is being honoured in Leytonstone. Do you love to keep it local? Well, you can join the conversation by using the hashtag #DigitalNation. It's that time of year again when the cold comes a-calling and Jack Frost starts nipping at your nose. So it's even more important that we consider the needs of our little feathered friends. And in our first clip, STV Glasgow shares a homemade recipe that's so good, it's got local birds in a right old flap.
Okay, Hayley, so what are we going to get up to here? Because it looks like we're about to take on some arts and crafts.
We're actually going to make some food for the birds today, and we're going to make a bird feeder as well. Big sticky hands for this one, you'll love it. We're going to use some lard here. You can use seeds, so we've got some here. If you don't have any seed in the house, you can use broken up stale biscuits or breadcrumbs.
Like, are they all as good, basically?
Yeah, a lot of the
seeds the best?
Seeds are the best. If you've got some seed, that's brilliant. But they're after this in the wintertime, they're wanting the fat because they can lose a lot of body weight overnight, especially with the weather dropping. And that can be 3-4 grams of body weight. And if they don't get enough weight on during the day, they can actually die during the night because of the cold.
Oh, no.
Because they're using the fat to burn and keep themselves warm. Some seed and making a pancake initially.
Okay, I'm going to squidge it in. Here we go.
It should just peel off like that. If you imagine that's your handle, so you'll get a bit of string and that's how you're going to tie the feeder up onto the tree. So what we're going to do here is actually cut a little window into the feeder here, leaving the base.
Lovely.
And there we have a bird feeder. Voila.
That's perfect.
40 years ago, a traditional style of dance jigged its way over the sea and ended up settling in Preston, where we find our next story. So let's meet the talented young North West Regional Irish dancing champions. And one hot-footed young lad set to be the next Michael Flatley.
This is Irish dancing, and has hot-footed its way across the water and made a name for itself in Preston.
I just love Irish dancing, always have done. I knew that I wanted to be a dance teacher. Probably from the age of 13, I knew 100% that's what I wanted to be doing.
And this class in particular fared extremely well at a regional competition in Manchester.
This particular year was our best yet, which is brilliant. We do now have the North West champion under 9 boys, so that's a big title to have for such a young boy. And also he's not even been dancing for a year yet, so that's pretty impressive. And for the other girls, we've had recalls, 1, 2, 3 recalls, and we've got 1 world qualifier as well.
Young dancer Ethan James is one of the star talents of the group and has just taken the highly coveted title of North West champion in the under 9 boys category. But Ethan is miles ahead of his game and is sadly just too young to attend the World Championships in Glasgow, despite qualifying.
North West came first, and this year I can't qualify for the World Championships because I'm a year younger. But next year, I hope I get to the Worlds. Once you get on stage, you just know what you're going to do, and you feel like just doing it all and doing it good.
And this is a thought echoed by oldest member of the group, Amy Harrison-Armstrong, who after a 10-year stint away from dancing, has come back with an almighty bang and qualified for the World Championships.
For the World Champions in our region, so I had to dance against her, so it was pretty tough, but it felt like a whole day had gone by. I couldn't believe that it was only 2 o'clock once I'd found out I qualified. I didn't know what to do with myself.
Only 1/4 of the group originate from Irish ancestry, and for the remaining 3/4, it just goes to show Irish dancing doesn't have to be in your blood to pass on rhythm to your legs.
A restoration of a beautiful golden bark at the top of an 800-year-old Portsmouth cathedral means Pompey sailors can once again be confident that the famous weather vane is pointing in the right direction. So that Solent reveals the story of a legendary local symbol.
For the past few months, Portsmouth Cathedral has been undergoing some extensive repairs. The cathedral's weather vane, known as the Golden Bark, has sat atop the cupola for more than 300 years, becoming a welcome sight for homecoming Portsmouth ships. Over the years, the Golden Bark has gained an almost mythical status. Legend has it that when the old bark was brought down for repairs, mothers from around the city would gather and place their babies inside it. It was believed that this was good luck and would stop their children from dying at sea. The original bark was blown down in the 1950s and a replacement erected. The last major restoration of the current bark took place in 1969. And I got to meet the man who did them, 93-year-old lifelong Portsmouth resident Reg Morris. He says that Pompey sailors pointed out a critical problem with the weather vane. It was pointing the wrong way when the wind blew.
The sailing club got in touch with the architect and said when the wind was blowing, the ship was off course, the weather vane, and could they extend the scaffold up and put that right. And now it was chosen to go out there and see what problem was it. And it was a simple thing, that the flag had got blown just off straight. And it took about 2 minutes to put that right. And that's how it all came about. And then when I got to hear it was being brought right down in the cathedral, I was rather anxious to come right and see if the struts that I put on 47 years ago were still there. If I hadn't done that, all the ships would have been piling up, filing up all on top of one another. So I did something right. It seems a beautiful thing now. And I'm just as glad to see that what I did is still there.
The Golden Bark will go back onto the cupola for residents and sailors to enjoy once again when repairs to the cathedral are complete in early 2016.
Over to Edinburgh now to meet Warren Elsmore, a man with a rather unusual job. Like many of us, Warren started playing with toy bricks at a very early age. But unlike most of us, he managed to construct a career out of it. And he's so good at making models, if you can name it, he can build it.
Some of my friends were a little bit unsure as to actually what building Lego for a living meant. You know, how does that actually work? So this is our warehouse where we do all the cool stuff. We have lots and lots and lots of drawers. So every single drawer in here is an individual part, and then we subdivide into colours. It's certainly taken off. I mean, the first year or so was busy, and then the movie came out and it just went ballistic. Typically, somebody will come to us with an idea, and then it's a question of how do we go about it. So some things we'll build with a really strict set of instructions, but we'll use a variety of 3D modelling tools. Other times we'll pick, you know, these sorts of things. We'll just sit here with all the bricks and think, I think it will probably work like this, and just do it completely freehand. The bridge took around, the whole project was about 4 months probably, start to finish. I think we're anticipating it to be still popular for a very long period of time. It's really popular now, and that. I mean, the funny thing is now I don't get to build the things I want to so much. I've got a list of things that I really want to build. So I've been on the record as wanting to build the full Kurt wheel, a working version of the full Kurt wheel, for a very long time. We really try and make a proper effort to still do fan things and go to fan shows and just build things we want to do, because what's the point if it's not fun?
Football fans all over the world are known for their dedication of following their teams through thick and thin and travelling hundreds of miles to show their support. In this next clip, we join Made in Leeds as they travel on an emotional away bus to find out why fans have such unbounded love for Leeds United.
OK, so we're on our way, Gary, on the coach.
Yeah.
What's going to happen now?
Well, we're going to beat Huddersfield, and it's a Only about 5 mile now, 6 mile and we're away, on us way.
But normally on these, you know, you might have 12 hours sometimes. You know, that's an extremity, but 6 hours, 5 hours, what goes on the coach?
Well, this is just a little sprint, innit? Just a sprint now to the game and have a few beers when we get there and a few beers when we get back, and in between, beat Huddersfield Town.
As long as we win, I don't mind how it goes. As long as Leeds United get 3 points, I don't mind. If Leeds don't win, I'm in a bad mood. I'm in a bad mood on way back, and people don't. You got to have like an hour cooling off period where everyone's a little bit quiet. But if they win, this place is bouncing.
I supported Leeds since I was 7 years old, standing in a scratching shed. Always have done, always will do. Everybody says to me I'm a mad Leeds fan. That's what we all are.
It's a religion, isn't it? At the end of the day, I've been coming every week for 30-odd years. As a kid, I used to hitchhike over. And now, obviously, with the low-cost airlines, we plan our matches well in advance and we go every week home and away.
What is interesting about Tony is he makes up songs. So the songs you hear being sung in the bars and some on the terraces are all coming from this guy.
Not all, but quite a lot.
Do you have a particular favourite that you
like?
Well,
the new one is the one that we're trying to catch on, get people to catch on. They're all learning that and it's starting to catch on quite a bit now, so do you want to hear it?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Oh, Leeds United, I'm so delighted. I chose you as my football team. We've had some good years and shared a few tears, but you will always be in my dreams.
That's it for part 1, so it can only mean it's quiz time. Which city has more medieval churches still standing than any other city in Northern Europe? Is it A, Belfast, B, York, or C, Norwich? Join us in part 2 for the answer. Welcome back to part 2 of Digital Nation. Before the break, we asked you, which city has more medieval churches still standing than any other city in Northern Europe? And the answer is C, Norwich. Norwich has 2 cathedrals and 32 medieval churches, more than any other city north of the Alps. Let me tell you, the force is definitely strong in this next clip, because blue plaques are a well-known feature in London, and the scheme is believed to be one of the oldest of its kind in the world, honouring a host of historical figures. However, the unveiling of a new blue plaque in Leytonstone highlights the work of a more recent star.
First catch of the day, Lord Vader.
Excellent, thank you. So we're absolutely delighted to have had the blue plaque installed today for Stuart Freeborn, who grew up here in Leytonstone and is an absolute legend in the Star Wars community, having created such fantastic characters as Yoda and Chewbacca. As soon as we found out that the blue plaque had confirmation to go up, we wanted to have an event to honour him, and we feel we've certainly done that today. We've got murals which are going to be up permanently, displaying some of his most famous characters, as well as others from the Star Wars universe, and we've got activities going on for families all day, and obviously everyone is incredibly excited to meet our stormtroopers and the Vader.
Lovely day for it.
You'll see some of the characters that Stuart had some say in the design of being painted. Unfortunately, the poor weather meant that we couldn't finish it in time for today's blue plaque unveiling, but they are still working on them and they're going to be fantastic and a permanent legacy in this road that Stuart lived to his life. Obviously, there's a big buzz around Star Wars, and we just want to kind of make sure we get on the action and ensure that the whole world recognises the contribution that a famous Leytonstone resident played in this phenomenal global film. Well, it means a lot to Leytonstone. We're very proud of the sons and daughters that have had some role or have spent some time here in Leytonstone or Waltham Forest over the years. We want to celebrate their lives, celebrate their contributions, especially when we reflect on the tragic incident in Leytonstone Tube Station. You know, actually this is what Leytonstone, this is what Waltham Forest is about. It's about a very strong community. It's about our sons and daughters creating very positive impressions, not only in London, not only in Waltham Forest, but across the globe. You know, very famous sons and daughters have spent time here, and we're very proud of them.
Move along. Just move along, sir.
To aid with their studies of different faiths in the UK, young people studying at schools in Cardiff have been invited for a cultural visit to a mosque to meet people from the Muslim community and find out more about their beliefs. We follow Made in Cardiff to find out more.
So today we've got 300 children come down, 300 yesterday as well, from various schools around Cardiff, and they've been looking around the mosque getting a feel for what Muslims believe in. We've set up a number of workshops and interactive quizzes and things for them to do. So it's hands-on learning, so what they're here is learning what Islam is, what Muslims believe in a fun, interactive way, but also they're getting to meet some of the people in the Muslim community. So we're part of our longer-term plan of staying engaged with the school, staying engaged with the community. It's become even more important after those type of attacks where Muslims are being blamed, to ensure that the children are instilled with a sense of friendship for Muslims, and they're not themselves growing up with hatred towards the Muslims because of some misunderstanding or misconceptions. So as soon as they walk in, they get a little short introduction to the mosque and what it's about, what we do here. Then they go off into individual groups, into teams. So they got a team that does hijabs. They try on a Muslim headscarf or the men's outfits for Muslims and see what it's like to dress up a Muslim. They go over, they have their name written in Arabic, so they got John or Stephen or Michael written in Arabic, and they also then go over and have a quiz and fill out quiz questions and a word search. It all reinforces the learning that they've been having. Bringing children down, getting them to interact with Muslims, meet Muslims, and meet Muslims in their community as well, because it's all school children from local mosques or schools. We're able to build that relationship with them and make them understand that there's this clear distinction between what terrorism and what they do and what Muslims believe in, because there's no similarities between it.
A brand new CT scanner has just been installed at a health centre in Hucknall. But this £250,000 high-definition machine has not been bought for the benefit of humans, oh no. So who's going to be the first to use it? Well, that would be a German Shepherd with a dodgy elbow. Notts TV has the story.
It's an exciting day at the East Midlands Referral Vets in Hucknall as this new CT scanner, costing £250,000, is being put to the test. Melinda Boyle's 7-month-old German Shepherd Jack has a poorly elbow, and she's hoping the new equipment will find out the problem. Head vet Graham Oliver says the facility will help with a faster diagnosis.
This is a new high-definition CT scanner. It's the first of its type into the country. It gives us pictures that are of sort of 30 to 50 times the resolution of standard CT, so we can see very, very fine detail, which for the discipline we're engaged in is really vital. We can see tiny details in bones and spines that will really make the difference diagnostically.
And in just a few clicks, Graham loads up the post-scan photos and shows me the new software. It's a vast improvement from X-rays, MRIs and even standard human CT scanners. In fact, an X-ray didn't pick up what was wrong with Jack's elbow.
Slices through the bone, we can see the muscles and the skin. This is our problem here, this little crack here. Might not look terrifically significant, but that's it. We see it more easily when we look at this image. There, we can see the fragments here. This should be one solid piece of bone, should look like that. We see the fragments here. And then in a similar fashion, we can convert his elbow into a 3D image.
I think that's phenomenal, the way they just can detach part of it and put it on to make it look like it should look, and then take it away so you can actually see the injured side.
It's a shame that he's got the injury, but it's a magnificent piece of kit.
We're very privileged. I mean, we had the choice whether to spend the money or not, but it seems that this is such a fantastic piece of equipment. We took a little bit of a chance on it because we weren't able to see much of it in action because it is the first in the country.
Well, it's paid off, as with the new scanner, Graham immediately found out what was wrong with Jack, and he'll now have keyhole surgery on his elbow. But first, he's off home for lots of cuddles.
Creative Kingdom time now. But which city this week leads the way in innovation and ingenuity?
There's loads of words for a small sandwich like miniature loaf of bread, but if you live round here and you call it anything but a cob, then you're not proper not. But why do we call it a cob? Well, because cob is an Old English term for a lump or rounded mass of summit. Before bricks and that, folk used to make cob houses, and they looked like, well, cobs. Theirs were made out of clay, water, sand and straw. Ours are made out of ham, cheese, chips and breakfast. Proof once again that when it comes to innovation, creativity and shoving an arse in your mouth, ain't not mint.
The Japanese phenomenon of cosplay is slowly sweeping across the UK, and the fan conventions encourage large numbers of eager attendees to don costumes and roleplay their favourite characters. So let's head to Belfast to meet one cosplayer who has gone the extra mile to celebrate a very British robotic villain.
We have started getting a lot more cons here in Belfast, like what we didn't have years ago. So I think it gives somewhere, like it gives these sort of people, like cosplayers, somewhere to go and something to look forward to every year. I've done Batman, I've done Wolverine, I've done like Tom Baker, I've done Joker, I've done a few bits and pieces over the years, some bigger than others.
You are an enemy of the Daleks. You will be exterminated. Exterminate, exterminate, exterminate!
This is my newest project. Well, it is a full-size Dalek from the sci-fi show Doctor Who. I've been completely full-size. I hop inside him and I'm sitting inside a little seat, and I wired up to like a voice modulator over a headset on. Obviously, I can do the voice and everything. Well, the original shell was done by a friend. It took about 5 or 6 months, and it was done on the cheap. But then whenever I spent about 6, 7, 8 months doing it up, basically adding all new stuff and basically all electronics and things like that, and a new paint job.
You will face your Dalek masters!
I would say it's probably cost about slightly over £1,000. Just slightly over, but it is still quite cheap for a full-size Dalek. Give it a go. Even if you have like a cheap costume, £20 or £30, give it a go. Get up to a con, because like, this is where you get to meet loads of new friends, new people, and it's good crack.
And that completes our tremendous tour of the best of local. If our stories have enlightened you, then don't forget there's more you can see of each of the local TV channels on their websites. Or why not catch up on previous episodes of the show by visiting bbc.co.uk/Digital Nation. Until next week, goodbye.